Before we begin this week's episode, we'd like to take a moment to thank our listeners for the tremendous amount of support you've shown in the past month. In particular, we'd like to especially thank the Star Atlas Turkish and Romanian communities for supporting our show. Star Atlas, and more broadly Web3, has shown that it can provide borderless, frictionless, and censorship-resistant opportunities to globally restricted economies. To our supporters around the world, we see you and we hear you. Thank you again. Now on to the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hologram News Network. On this week's episode, our main headline is, Will February be any different for Star Atlas? A look at some recent events and what they may point to for Star Atlas in 2023. But first, here's the news from around the community. Star Atlas news was again light this week, continuing the trend of a quiet January. However, Star Atlas is making a public appearance at the Solana Gaming Spaces in Miami this week, where a showroom demo is set up for anyone to play. You can likely catch Star Atlas co-founder Pablo Quiroga if you're lucky. In guild news, The Unseen, a Mud Pirate guild, has announced a partnership with Deep Profits, another Mud guild. This announcement follows a similar trend of strengthening factioning bonds across all three factions. Multiple sources report that each faction has stood up its own faction-exclusive Discord, and it would also appear that single-faction guilds are at least willing to engage in dialogue with multi-faction guilds, as noted by their presence in these faction servers. Turning to DAO news, Locked Polis has crossed the 40 million token threshold, or roughly 25% of all circulating tokens, bringing the total Polis voting power available to 342 million. The Polis token price has shown relative neutrality over the past few weeks. Coming up after the break, our main story. Will February be any different for Star Atlas? But first, a message from our partners.
This week's episode is brought to you by TikuBot. Automate your market buy and sell orders with ease and peace of mind. While you're away, TikuBot keeps your orders in play. Learn more at tikubot.com. That's TIGUBOT.com. TikuBot, your market made ready.
This week's feature is titled, Will February Be Any Different for Star Atlas? Star Atlas was relatively light on news for the month of January. Community member Jaywalk shared their frustration by highlighting desired updates on Runway, Sage, mining claim stakes, and a town hall in 2023. Here's what Afia's Metaverse Explorer had to say.
Reassuring that you're still full speed ahead. Yes. Michael Wagner previously typed, we are full speed ahead in regards to the runway. That doesn't help us much at all. And this is the same concern I've been voicing, like even in the last video. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but I don't actually know any more than that. I should take your word. Like, yeah, no, it's kind of hard, guys. It's kind of really, really hard. To be like an adult, rational person where money is involved, you take their word. Not really, guys. It's not a good decision making, you know?
We've previously reported that there appears to be an apparent shift in communication strategy from ATMTA, and this has been indirectly confirmed by Michael Wagner. Quote, not sure why you would expect major product updates in January following a chaotic close of the year, end quote. A lot of internal restructuring occurred within ATMTA after 13 team members were laid off, as reported by Afia. Wagner has confirmed a town hall for February 3rd that will likely cover a significant number of updates on both game development and company standing. It would also appear that ATMTA has moved their town hall schedule to center on key release dates as opposed to the rolling 3-week schedule of 2022. So what does that mean for Star Atlas in February? Many guild leaders have expressed confidence in the project despite having misgivings about the lack of runway information. However, that could soon change. Multiple sources have confirmed that Michael Wagner has recently returned from a business trip to Asia. While the exact purpose and location of Wagner's trip to Asia is unclear, longtime Star Atlas supporter and partner Animoca Brands is headquarters in Hong Kong, China. It is unknown if Wagner actually met with Animoca during this trip. However, Michael's return, followed by Friday's town hall, may be coincidental timing, or there may be some announcement regarding development funding. Unfortunately, not much is known at this time, and Star Atlas spokespersons did not return a request for comment. For now, the community will have to wait for the next drip of Star Atlas news. And that concludes this week's episode. If you'd like today's news and coverage, be sure to like and subscribe to receive the startless news that you need to stay one step ahead. Once again, I'm your host, Griggs, and you've been listening to the Hologram News Network.